me see.
VG, do you want to tell us a little bit about these two teams?
Perhaps
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me.
It appears that.
Let me see. I don't know why, but I hear an echo still. Hang on. Okay, that's
Do
good.
you have the stream running perhaps?
I do.
Well, that should be fixed momentarily.
Oops.
So,
Okay, yes. So the two
go ahead.
teams
Tell
that
us
was
about
going to be
these
playing in the
teams.
first game, and it is going to be between Arzowane, and it will also feature the PS4 back-to-back-to-back champion. And he didn't quite make it in the Champions Cup to get the ticket, but he is here today to hopefully be able to grab that World Cup ticket after hopefully winning today's match. But he'll be facing up against a pretty strong coach. And let's see here. It's
So
gonna
yeah,
be a good
for
one.
the viewers, Arzowane is coaching the human team. The human team are receiving in this match, and we've started off with a riot, which means we're already on turn 2. And straight to the first punch and the first knockout. That's not good for the Orks, of course.
Oh my!
pretty
Did
sure
they start the game already?
Yes, Diomlord just punched a black orc KO. Had one of his black orcs KO'd on the first punch, and he uses the Apo on the KO. So the Orcs' Apo is gone, but they still have their players on the pitch.
Hang on, I didn't even know. So let me get into the game. I cannot see anything.
VG Purist will be joining us, spectating the match shortly. In the meantime, I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on. So, for those of you who don't know, Blubble 2 is... Oh, that's a double skull for Arzowane. What a set of ups and downs. The reroll is a both down, which is good enough, of course, because they have block.
Okay, I got the game going.
So, excellent. Thank you. Oh, and the block ogre also value because of both down knocks down the third player on the line of scrimmage. So, for those of you who don't know, Blubble 2 has its World Cup coming up. It is going to be starting on July 16th, which is very soon. And it's going to be running for about a month. There's the semifinal will be on the 14th of August, and the final will be on the 16th of August. And people have been trying to qualify over a bunch of tournaments over the past months. And what you're watching now, the Invitational Cup, features 8 of the top coaches from the competitive division, the champion ladder, who have qualified multiple times for the Champions Cup, which is the main monetized high-end division from the official Focus and Cyanide team. So these people have all qualified multiple times. Most of them have won it once or even several times. And so we're watching some top coaches play. And there are 2 tickets to the World Cup to be won during this tournament. And that means that for these coaches, this is their last shot at one of those tickets. In the end, 64 coaches will be playing in the World Cup. And that is going to be exciting.
Oh yeah, it's going to be really exciting, Sage. I mean, this is going to be one of those times in which, you know, it's a good build-up. There's actually a good prelude for things to come. Right now, we have 3 human teams in the semifinals. It's a little bit of a rarity, but it's one of those things where it kind of makes sense. Ogre with that block skill up on the front line, and then 3 guard players, and then whatever else have you, such as tackle and mighty blow for that blitzer right there on the field itself. Arzowane's looking really good on the field, and right now, our team just going to be playing back for the time being. Doesn't want to get caught up into anything and, you know, brush off the cobwebs and getting ready to go. I'm really excited for today's game.
Yeah, absolutely. So for a bit of background info, let me briefly switch over to the brackets. So as you can see, 8 different teams set off to start here. And Arzowane has beaten Rambo, who chose to go with vampires, very surprisingly. And Diomlord has beaten Crucifer, who was playing as Chaos Dwarves. Over on the other side, Pupok defeated Inarian. We'll be watching Pupok play Bernie later. And Bernie defeated Shawnee's Dwarves. So while only 3 of the 8 teams were humans, all 3 of those did actually go through to the semifinals.
Yeah, Bernie Buffin taking out Sean 18. That was a little bit of a surprise for me because I actually had predicted the dwarves to go all the way, but of course, Nuffle has other ideas with the blitz on the kickoff and some pretty solid play by Bernie Buffin to bring home the victory. So we're gonna see him a little bit later on, but Diomlord today, after taking out Crucifer, he looks pretty strong with the Orc team. I mean, like, I was actually expecting to have a few more Orc teams in this tournament, but I guess 4 skills, not very fun to play with, whereas 5 skills and also a double skill for the tier 2 teams, such as the humans on the pitch. I mean, I guess that's why we see 3 humans on the.
So, absolutely. So, to give a bit of background, for the World Cup main event, we're using the same rule set to begin with, which means that coaches who take a tier 1 team get 4 normal skills, but coaches who take a tier 2 team get 5 normal skills plus a doubles. However, unlike in the World Cup main event, for this tournament, there are no skills added for later rounds, which means we're still watching those initial teams as they were first selected. During the World Cup, coaches will be allowed to add a skill to their team after every game that they win. This will be a doubles after game 1, a normals, then another doubles, and then 2 more normals to add up to a total of 10 skills for tier 1 teams and 12 skills for tier 2 teams once coaches reach the finals.
Yes, I'm momentarily flubbed it. Arzowane is playing humans and Diomlord is playing Orcs, so apologies for that. Still early for me, guys.
So to tell you a little bit about the people casting this, I am the Sage. I play a lot of Blood Bowl. I don't actually watch a whole lot, so for me, casting is actually a very interesting experience. I'd like to think I know a lot about the game as a whole, but I don't actually know all that much about the people who have been qualifying over the time. Whereas VG, who's here with me very early, thank you for that, has actually done a lot of casting of official matches, Champions Cup playoffs, and also previous rounds of this Invitational Cup. So he's much more familiar with these individual coaches, their play styles and such, and their previous performances. So I hope we managed to combine well in that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've casted probably thousands of games by now on Blood Bowl, and that's pretty much all I do. I do play a little bit, and I also still do the Blood Bowl beta, the closed beta for Blood Bowl 2. But I mean, yeah, I really enjoy watching the top players play. I mean, I myself, good player, but I'm just not one of those championship coaches, and so I really enjoy watching the play styles. It's one of those things where I've always been a better type of kind of analyzer than I am an actual player. I mean, it's going to be one of those things also where people who are playing this game, they just naturally know how to play this game, and I just lack that Blood Bowl sense on the pitch at the moment. I always kind of look after the fact. But yes.
I'm going to interrupt you for a moment because we see another Black Orc getting knocked out by the Ogre this time. The Orcs chose a very connected playstyle, marking everywhere. The humans advanced their catcher to a cage that was still in contact, which means if the Ogre had boneheaded there, this would have been a huge risk. Instead, I am very sorry. I was still on the previous view. So the Ogre has knocked out a Black Orc instead of boneheading, which is a huge advantage for the humans. So I'm pretty sure that Arzowane will be well pleased with the performance of his Block Ogre.
Yeah, just like in the last game, the Ogre and the Mighty Blow Tackler Blitzer has been coming through pretty good for the human team. I mean, Arzowane, these two guys, after the fact, if he makes it to the final and wins the ticket, he needs to give these guys a vacation or something like that. But not before going into the World Cup, mind you. But yeah, definitely going to be one of those things where really want to get that Ogre and that Mighty Blow Tackler something.
Yeah, it's worth noting that coaches are allowed to bring completely different teams to the World Cup than they do to this tournament. So the team that you qualify with is of no influence on the team that you choose to bring to the main event.
Yes, right
Now we
now
see
this
them.
is going to be just
Go
a
ahead.
World Cup Invitational, and so they can choose a different team afterwards. This is not the team that they're going to be going into the World Cups with. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No worries. So we see the Orcs making use of their Mighty Blow tackle, punching down a catcher, but of course the catcher is not that impressed. Now in Blood Bowl 2, catchers have armor 8, so it's not too surprising.
Yeah, the Orc team is looking like he's trying to get aggressive here. He did base him up in that last round, did kind of get some armor breaks because of it, and that's a little bit too bad. And so Orcs probably wants to get back to basics and just play off of the human team. But right now, though, after a few hits there, it didn't really work out too well. Did take out the catcher, but no big armor break or anything like that. Orcs are now going to continue to base up just a little bit and play a little bit more staunch in the front line now that the human teams did get to the front line and in the midfield.
Yeah, suffering the loss of both the Black Orc and the Apothecary in the first couple of blocks must be very, very tough. Now, Diomlord does bring a bench, but it's a goblin. Nice for one turning, but not really good replacement for a Black Orc should he fail his KO roll.
Yeah, certainly, but you know, it's not going to be something that the Orc team is not too unfamiliar with, right? I mean, you always sometimes get the Black Orcs out. It would be nice to have the 4 strength man in there, but not too bad of a deal at the moment.
Just doing some quick volume adjustments here.
Yeah,
Hopefully this should be better.
hopefully that'll be a little bit better. The crowd will let us know.
Absolutely. So for those of you who are watching this on Mixer or on the Steam page, we're primarily doing this over on Twitch. So if you have any questions, we'll probably catch it the quickest if you post them on the Twitch chat. I hope VG will occasionally have a look around and see whether there are other places where questions are being posted. So,
All right.
overall plan for the humans. I mean, so far, keep doing what you're doing, I guess.
Yeah, right now the strategy is working out for them, right? The human team, they're able to kind of bash down, and look at that. Another
No!
big KO on the right side. They're able to just wipe out another Black Orc. Oh, that's going to make the offense a
Yeah.
whole lot easier. What do you say to that?
Well, Diomlord has got to be very, very frustrated right now. I mean, the only good thing for him is that this is happening on defense, which, if he gives up a touchdown this drive, it's only status quo. He even has the chance to one turn, and he gets 2 chances to get his KOs back. But that has got to be very, very harsh for the #1 Orc coach in the NAF.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. At this point, people are saying, "Oh my gosh, we're going to see 64 human teams." Kind of like in 2016 Blood Bowl 2 World Cup, where we saw a whole bunch of Dwarven teams. We may see a whole bunch of human teams. But don't worry, guys. Right now, it's looking pretty good. We have a pretty varied team selection for the World Cup. So don't you guys get too scared.
Oh, you have inside information, huh?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's going to be one of those things where I can't share too much. But don't you guys worry. You know, it's going to be one of those things where we have a lot of the coaches now, because of the skill sets of the World Cup, I think a lot of the coaches are going to end up picking their more favorite races and not necessarily the quote unquote OP type looking races that may dominate in the World Cup. And, anyways, how many people really are that great with humans, right? I mean, I don't know about you, Sage, but I'm not extremely great with humans, and I probably wouldn't play the humans if given the opportunity.
Well, they do look very strong in this format. It's just that I'm kind of allergic to Agility 3. So I I really consider myself an elf coach. If this were a standard rule set, I would definitely be going with wood elves, dark elves. I have to say that, humans and necro do look tempting. I
Yeah.
haven't made my final decision yet, but I guess I'm gonna have to do so very, very soon.
All right, that's right, Sage. You're in the World Cup, so you actually have to make the selection, huh?
That is.
Oh gosh.
Ooh, another double skulls coming up here. This time for the orcs.
Ah,
Ooh.
1 in 36 there happening there. But hey, that's why we got rerolls, right, Sage?
Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
Hmm.
But I bet he would rather go and murder some of those human blitzers.
Yeah. And I believe at this point here, the Orc team now down his second Black Orc likely isn't going to give a huge defense by the end, so the humans should be able to score it here by the end of the first half.
Now, the humans also bring one person bench, and of course, a human lineman is a bit more of a replacement for a player than a goblin would be. So even if he gets to do a removal or two, it might not make enough of a difference. Which means that the orcs are probably hoping for, well, maybe a lucky one turn, but more likely a second half 1-1 score, and then pushing for overtime.
Yeah, we may be in for a long haul here, Sage, because, I mean, at this point, I think it's just going to be a pretty much a status quo, one for the humans, and then likely one for the Orc team in the second half.
Orcs are quite capable of putting up a solid defense, but, not missing two of their strength fours.
Yeah, big time.
Now, you've seen Arzowane play before. Is he the kind of coach who usually stalls?
Oh yeah, he definitely will. He's definitely going to be one of those coaches that will stall it, and he will try to take out as much time as he can, even though he has putting him quite offensively there in range for the touchdown. He will hold the ball for as long as he possibly can, and I think that's definitely going to be the best play he can muster up right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So then the question, ooh, that is harsh.
Nice.
Well, so the Orc blitzed, rolled a 1 in 9, did at least get to remove one of the humans, but that roll does not look good there.
Oh,
He wanted to push him forward and put some pressure on those blitzers after the knockdown, and instead he's lying on his back, not doing that much.
yeah, I do believe though Arzowane is gonna be okay with that. He did put that thrower right there, and that kind of tells me that he doesn't need his thrower, and he put him out there to actually get hit, and he did, and unfortunately got removed. But one of those things in which he purposely put him out there, so not something too unsurprising. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, no, the big thing here really is that the troll is getting nowhere near the ball, which means it's way easier for Arzowane to actually go and stall here in the backfield, just hanging near the end zone, waiting for the Orcs to put on some decent pressure. And that's not easy when you're slow and not that agile and, flat on your back.
Nah, it's definitely not going to be an easy thing at all. I mean, but but again, the Orc team at this point, they're just going to be looking to get some removals himself, try to even it up on the pitch, because once the second half does roll around, you don't want to be down one or two people on the field. So I think at this point, just wants to play it strong and solid. Don't want to give up too much. Of course, you still want to chase after the ball. Maybe you can force them to score early in the first half. That would be quite ideal, but I don't think he'd be too aggressive here. Diomlord, that is.
It's pretty much the only thing he's got to play for, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the alternative is just waiting for second half, or rather, the one-turn shot. So are we going to see a blitz from the blitzer in the backfield? Ooh, first the ogre tries to knock down this orc blitzer, but both downs don't do anything for either of them.
Yeah, the blitz for the human team is definitely going to try to come out from the mighty blow every chance he gets. I mean, so far it's been working out. Ogre taking out a couple of guys, and I think the mighty blow tackler blitzer hasn't really done much this game, but he's sure to get online pretty soon.
Actually, I think he's the guy who KO'd the first Bob.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Which is where more double skulls.
That doesn't
So
KO
much
anyone right there.
Well, hopefully. Ooh,
Oh,
nope,
Lord.
reroll used. So
Of
the humans are
course.
down to one reroll.
Yeah, he's gonna use the reroll there. Why not? He's
But
pretty much assured himself the touchdown. And oh yes, beautiful reroll there. He will be thanking his lucky stars. Another big injury, and the humans out bashing the Orc team. Not every day you see this, isn't that right, Sage?
Absolutely. This is not what you want to see as orcs. Brutal, brutal bashing from the humans.
Humans are out bashing the Orc team. Just a classic. I mean, that's what's plastered on the Blood Bowl front page right there. Humans versus Orcs. Just the classic matchup. And right now, humans, Homo sapiens everywhere, are celebrating. You homos out
So
there.
hopefully for the Orcs, they'll still have 11 players, including the Goblin, but this is looking very, very grim for them. The humans might actually, if they keep bashing like this, they'll have a pretty easy job defending against the Orc team.
It's like the Orc team has gotten armor value 7 out there, and it's just terrible. If you're the Orc player right now, you just want to just, oh gosh, go into the locker room and just stop the bleeding.
Ineffective blocking from the humans.
Yeah.
From the Orcs, my bad. Will we see a blitz? Who's hiding behind here? Alpha, rookie blitzer. Not really in a great position to make that much of a difference. He's going to have to get one of the guys out from the ogre.
Yeah, and I don't believe that Diomlord will try anything too crazy, especially being down this many guys. He's probably going to be okay with just going into the first half down 1-0. I don't think he's going to go for a one-move touchdown either at the end, but we'll see how Diomlord wants to go with this.
Well, I think he'd have to try the one turn. I mean, that's what you have the goblin for and the troll. Well,
Yeah,
the troll
right.
does stuff, but
The throw teammate at the end. I don't even count that. I mean, it's so unlikely that's going to happen, but I guess you're right. Might as well just give it a go, right?
well, I mean, given how cheap the goblin is, it's it's better than not having a 12th player at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the shot at the one turn, if you don't manage to pressure the defense or break it, the offense, then
Hey, it's
here
going to
we
be
go.
pandemonium if he does get Goblins touchdown there with the throw teammate. So that I would really
That
love to
would
see
be-
that.
Me too.
The
So we are
OG.
seeing 4 orcs coming forward, trying to push to where the ball carrier is right now, leaving the ogre far, far behind.
Oh gosh, both of these coaches going at each other, and look how quickly they're playing. This is almost the end of the first half here, and we just started. I mean, this is pretty quick here. So I think the intermission between the two games, Bernie Buffin and Poopak coming up next, may actually be a bit of a long one.
Well, I'm pretty sure that both of them are actually around, so perhaps we can actually get them to play a little bit earlier if that is the case. But for all you know, we might be looking at overtime, which should definitely make a difference there.
Hey, one can only hope, right? More Blood Bowl action.
Always good. Absolutely.
Oh, nice.
So the humans have quite a few players standing closer to the midline. The mighty low tackle blitzer and a rookie lino who are able to aid the stall here, make sure that the orcs cannot do too much more than try and stand in the way, try and put pressure on.
I'm so happy that Arzowane is in the semifinals, though. Bernie Buffin as well. 2 PS4 players, and the consoles right now have been getting a little bit of the short end of the stick. If you haven't known, Sage, right now the console players are just I wouldn't say lacking in skill, but has a general thought that the PC players are the master race, quote unquote, over the PS4 or even the Xbox people who play. And I'm kind of happy to see that the PS4 players are in the semifinals, both of them.
Yeah, I think it's very cool that that there are options for both league qualifiers from the consoles as well as this Champions or Invitational Cup, allowing the people who have performed consistently well in the console Champs Cups to shine here too. Okay.
Oh gosh, yeah. The
3, 4, 5, 6.
the PS4 players.
So-
I mean, they just got they are representing so well, and this is actually one of the best that they have to offer Arzowane with the 4-time the 4-time Champions Cup winner. I think 1, 2, 3, and 4 back to back to back. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get a ticket, and he's here today. But I mean, we were able to see one of the best PS4 coaches play today.
Now we see a catcher hugging the sideline, which is within difficult dodge reach of the orcs. Now this might just be a moment for a beautiful, dangerous surf.
Oh,
That
look at
would be
that. Yeah,
lovely.
the blitzer is just in range if the Orc
Yeah,
team if they feel
it's
a little bit dicey.
I'm counting 3, 4, 3, 2, 2, 1 die. Well, we've done crazier surfs.
Oh yeah, we've done stupider things in life, and this might be it right here. Oh wow, what is Arzowane
I'm
thinking?
actually a bit surprised that Arzowane has chosen to put his catcher there. It may be a bit harder to reach, but if it does get reached, it might just make a huge difference to the game.
Oh, it will be. I mean, I'm a little bit surprised at this as well. I mean, I was just now saying how great Arzowane is, and then he places his catcher right on the sideline. Like, I'll show you, VG. I'm not that great. I'm not. I'm not. I
Well, I
just.
guess part of this kind of power dynamic in the game is that if you are so far in the lead that you get a little bit confident and
Yeah.
you feel very safe in what you're doing. It's something we do see more often.
Oh, that's true.
Now, it might be worth noting that for the Blubble 2 World Cup, we have a sponsor, Asus Republic of Gamers, and the World Cup main event has a prize pool of a value of $30,000, including 10,000 in cash and 2 amazing game PCs. So thank you for that, Asus Republic of Gamers.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Aces Republic Gamers, and also Cyanide and Focus Home Entertainment. You guys, thank you for this contest. We couldn't have it without them.
So moving everyone close except for the thrower, which I think we're going to see the attempt.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, this is Blood Bowl. This is why we play. I mean, this is not chess. We need to take the chances whenever given the opportunity, and this is it.
Come on, Alpha. You can do it. Leroy Jenkins. Let's see
Alpha.
it.
Come on, Alpha. There we go.
There he
There's the
goes.
dodge.
What? Yeah.
3
3
plus
plus is good.
dodge. And
And
he
now a
is
4
looking
plus
good.
3 plus.
He's going to have to do it again.
Let's see if Cox can stop him.
Can
4
he do it
plus is
again?
good.
Yes! Into the 4
Here it
plus.
comes. Here
Oh,
it comes.
the 3 plus.
Oh, and the 3 is good. All right, so 2 GFIs
Oh, this
and
is the
a
easy part.
1 die.
This is the easy part. Coming up.
GFI. GFI.
There
Yes!
he goes. Yes!
Wow.
Defender stumbles. Beautiful. Got the
Out goes
catcher.
official. And where does the ball go?
Oh
Ooh.
gosh, and
The
someone.
ball stays close.
Oh, the ball stays too close for comfort. Beautiful throw in for the human player. Orc can't believe what he just sees, and that right there, the humans may be able to recover after a little bit of an oversight there. Somebody in
Wow,
chat
that was cool, though.
mentioned that it was about a. What is it? No, I think. Imperatus, did you put in the wrong numbers there? You put 5 plus 5 plus
He
there.
did. Yeah, this was a 3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 die. I guess the 5 plus is the 1. No, that's not right either. Nope. Yeah, the thrower could have had a nice ball chucked his way, but instead the ball has stayed very close to where the humans still dominate.
Yeah.
So the thrower is just going to try and keep the Cox player busy here. And that lineman, can he do anything with all that guard around him? Let's see.
I don't think
Oh.
so. He might try something crazy though, if anything. But humans should be able to recover.
Ooh, last ditch. Ooh, that's cool.
Dodges around.
So,
But I think that's not gonna really make too much of a difference here. Easily able to get 2 die, especially just starting with the ogre, and then after that should be able to free up 1, 2, maybe even 3 human players in the next bit.
he doesn't need to punch with the ogre.
No, he
can
doesn't. But I'm
free
just
up,
saying, there's plenty of
yeah.
ways to free up a whole bunch of humans.
Yeah. So a 2 die on Alpha then, probably. Could even try and serve him. But that's also the player who's most likely to try and pick up the ball here.
Shout out back
Unless he
to
does
you,
that with the
Pendrix.
catcher.
Thank you so much for watching. And there we go, humans removing
So,
the guard.
Yeah, no push for the counter serve here.
Yeah, humans might think about scoring it, but I don't. No, actually, no. I don't. Yeah, he should. He should actually score it.
I don't think he's going to. I think he's gonna free up the catcher, pick it up, and try and pull off another round of stalling.
Yeah, if he can get the down. Yeah, he got him. So there we go. Able to screen off here quite easily, and so yeah, he's definitely gonna hold it. The worst that can happen now is a blitz through by likely the blitzer with the mighty blow and tackle if he can, and then maybe go and mark the ball carrier. But I think that's about the only threat that the Orc team can muster at this point.
Yeah, and the mighty blow tackle might still get punched by the ogre as well.
Yeah, he's still
Although
getting punched. Kapow!
Simply keeping the ogre unactivated is also a very valid option.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's just so many options right now. You can't even talk about it all. They're moving so quickly.
Catcher gets the ball. That could have been scary. So yeah, lovely, lovely action here. Lots of stuff happening.
Beautiful.
I kind of wanted the Orcs to see the Orcs steal after they suffered so much bash.
Yeah, I know, right? That would have been such a nice turn of events.
Oh, this is an interesting angle.
That's
Oh yeah, the lineman who hasn't moved can still get in front of Spartaco here, the Orc thrower.
the Orc thrower. Yeah, he should be okay right there. It looked a little dangerous and it looked a little bit off, but the screen looks like it's working, and he should be able to get another corner on the cage there.
I don't think he's going to activate the ogre at all, actually.
Yeah, that would actually be a good idea. Don't move him, but so tasty to do the 2-die on the mighty blow tackler, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but if that boneheads, then the catcher is suddenly pretty exposed, I was going to say.
He is exposed. I think he did the GFI there to kind of get away a little bit more from danger, but I don't know if that really helps him that much more.
Yeah, I think this helps enough.
It does get out
That's
of
gonna
range
be
of the
very
other
tough.
blitzer on the far left side there in the backfield. So I guess that's what he was really getting out of range of.
And now that he's done this, the block from the ogre is no longer as scary as if he'd hung around, but he chooses not to take it at all.
Ah, yes. Okay, yep. And just like you said, Ogre doesn't take the block. Yeah, I can't blame him there. You don't want to bonehead that and leave the mighty blow tackler all by himself to move the maximum allowance.
Yeah. So the Orcs could try a last-ditch, desperate push towards that ball carrier, but to be honest, I think they're just going to try and deal as much damage as they can.
Yeah, I think so. I think if anything, if he gets the down die right here against the blitzer with the troll, the blitzer may come over from the left side and maybe just mark up the ball carrier, just make it a little bit more scary. But otherwise,
Yeah, the troll failed the knockdown dial, so that's not.
He did. So there you go. He's just gonna cut him off. Why not? Because anyways, he wouldn't. That's not gonna help.
Yeah.
Yep, so we're likely going to just see the human team hold the ball for one more. And at this point, I think Diomlord's going, okay, who do I want to blitz with? My mighty blow tackler.
So yeah, first half humans received, first block knocked out. Ooh. Oh.
Whoa! Black
Whoa!
Orc! The Black Orc!
Oh.
Going
Wow.
for it! And actually makes
And-
all the crazy
and the
dodges.
pow!
He got the pow! He got the pow! The Black Orc!
And the ball stays in.
Oh, the ball
man.
stays in bounds right by the touchdown, and I can't believe it. Orc team can't catch a break.
Well, to be fair, they did just make a 4+4+2+2+ pow. But yeah, that was
Wow.
spectacular.
4+4+2+2+ into a 2-die pow.
Yeah, it's to be fair, it wasn't actually that much harder than the Blitzer's play. Nice.
Yeah, that's true, but he did end up with a nice dice there at the end. Unfortunately, though, Black Orc. Oh,
So
no.
as the Orcs, how do you keep the humans from doing too much? Yeah, so this blitzer is marked,
Yeah, he's gonna mark the blitzer
and
there and try to move the
he,
tackler onto the ball if possible, or at least
he
just
could
mark it
even
up.
give up a serve. He could even give up a serve to keep the mighty low tackle blitzer on the left flank occupied.
Yeah,
I mean, as the humans, are you going to prioritize freeing up a player to move there
I think this.
if uh, if the guard blitzer keeps the ogre busy, then Gamma, the mighty low tackle orc blitzer, who's currently on the ogre, could still move somewhere useful. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of this type of stuff here, especially in the World Cups. I mean, it's single elimination. You gotta go all out on the gas, right? I mean, you just can't hold back, and this is just prime time action that we're seeing here from the Orc team.
Very, very exciting stuff. Will the humans recover? Ooh.
Oh, gonna
Yeah,
be failing it.
I guess this makes a lot of sense. If that dodge were to succeed, it might be worth standing up. But since that dodge failed, you weren't going to keep the humans busy enough anyway. So then it makes sense to not give up the surf either. I
Yeah.
like the sequencing here.
And now the human team is only a 1 in 9 failure of picking up that ball from scoring it. So
Yeah.
hopefully that doesn't happen for the humans after playing a pretty good first half with getting a lot of armor breaks and going into the locker room 1
They
nothing.
do still have the risk. Sorry. Ooh, another armor break. Not that effective though.
Nope.
The humans do still run the risk of a 1 in 9 trying to push the black orc away from the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So they're and if that uses up the reroll, then the pickup gets scarier because their sure hands has been removed. So here
Yep,
comes
here
the
we go.
blitz.
2 die, no block. So
Yep.
1 in 9 right there could happen, but doesn't happen. Hey, that's a
Black orc
fortune for things
removal.
to come, right?
So will we see the humans
Flub the pickup. Oh, he's gonna fail the first pickup. He's gonna have to
and
re-roll that. He
reroll?
cannot fail it again. Oh, there
Oh.
we go. 1-0.
Ah.
Human team. Arzowane. Unos y calaveras. Ones and skulls. No ones
I'm
and
not
skulls
gonna
there.
lie, I kind of wanted to see that fail after the harsh dice the orcs got.
Oh,
It would have
yeah.
been a nice reward to see that pickup fail.
Orks played with his heart out there. He cannot feel dissatisfied with what he saw right there. But
And indeed.
it happened anyways.
So both black orcs stay out. Now that's not that important this roll, except it alters the chances of getting them back in total. Humans still have a full squad, of course, and the orcs now have the chance to throw a goblin and maybe kill someone on the way.
Yeah, both of the
So,
KOs
yes.
stay out there for the Orc team.
Yeah. So 50-50 now instead of 75% for them to come back.
Yeah.
That's got to be scary, scary stuff for Diomlord.
Yeah, that is definitely scary. And both of them are the Black Orcs even, so if they continue to stay KO'd, then this will make this game a little bit more difficult.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
If they stay out, then I think Arzowane is already cracking the champagne.
I don't know about that, but we've seen crazier things. But yeah, it's not going to be
Very,
looking good.
very, very true. Now we're watching some pretty educated coaches play as well, because Arzowane is actually a psychologist who claims to already know his opponent's plans in advance, and Diomlord is about to be a lawyer.
Oh, look at that! It's just so many smart guys that play this game.
Ah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, heck, the what is it, Sage? Aren't you you're a rocket scientist, aren't you?
No. I study brains and how they do minds and stuff.
Ah, see, same
I mostly
thing.
just I mostly just teach actually.
Okay. See, you teach the future minds. It's even better.
Yep.
And there you go. This is actually the correct formation to go when you're guarding against a throw teammate. You don't put them all the way in the back there. You want to put them somewhat in the halfway line like that, and just guard against all the anything that could happen.
Yeah, personally, I prefer having them spaced a bit further, and then and then actually having an extra line in front, which means you have a larger net to make the landing harder. Because now if he lands just one square in front of them, there's still no tackle zones on the landing.
Right.
But this is pretty effective. Now, if the goblin doesn't get thrown far enough to score, but does land successfully, we could even see it serve something. Although, with a bench, that doesn't really matter much to the humans. Right. And we might well see the blitz get used before that.
And that's actually why he put the level 1 lineman on the left and right side, just in case there is a surf.
No, I think that's to be able to. Oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
You never know.
I thought you were talking about the orcs. So the trick here is the throw teammate action uses up your pass action, which means you can't first pass the ball to the goblin and then throw the goblin, and that makes this entire endeavor a lot more difficult.
Yeah,
because
you have to hand it off.
Yeah, the location of the kick matters so much for your chances, or even whether it's possible to do this throw teammate one-turn touchdown. If the kick goes deep, it's not happening.
I've done that before myself. I threw it to my goblin in the front, and I was like, oh, how come I can't throw teammate? But you can't make 2 pass actions.
Yeah. My guess is we're going to see a blitzer try and catch this.
Well, the thrower is right there too. It doesn't matter.
The thing is, the thrower has sure hands, so if it bounces, he can still go and pick it up.
Yeah, that's true.
But now he's got the blitzer. Ooh, the catch is bad.
Ooh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 GFI for the thrower to hand off to the goblin after he's picked it up there.
Yeah, and you definitely want to save that last reroll for the throw itself.
And the catch. Oh, and the landing, I mean.
And the landing.
Okay, so he's going to blitz the lineman away from the troll. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
And
need
works.
to clear the troll for the throw, and he is clear. And not only that, a couple of knockdowns.
Now, trolls make pretty poor teammate throwers, to be fair, because they like to eat their teammates as well. So always hungry. And they're also kind of dumb. And they don't have strong arm out of the box, so throwing isn't exactly easy for them either. So there's a lot of places where this can go wrong for the orcs. But if it works, then it's going to be beautiful.
It will be a beautiful day indeed. Let's see it there. He's almost set up. He's almost ready to go.
So the reason he's moving these players closer is that if the catch fails but it bounces back, you might have another shot at it.
Yeah, because it could scatter into the hands, and then he may not have a good chance of getting it. But ooh,
sure hands does
sure
a thing.
Hands pick
awesome.
Up. Yes, the handoff.
The handoff
yes.
is good. It's happening.
It's happening. Throw teammate time. Where is he gonna throw it?
Horatio. Horatio, do it. I guess as far away from the tackler as he can without sacrificing distance.
There's the troll. There's the pickup. Does he eat him? No, he doesn't. He's picking him up.
He throws
He's
it.
Gonna throw him to the left. He lands it, but he looks a little bit short. He looks a little short. He is.
Short.
He's so short.
No.
So short.
Oh.
Just a little bit. And this is kind of what we were talking about before, where okay, you land short, and so your likely move now is if you still had the blitz, maybe just blitz and surf out the lineman.
Yeah.
But instead, he used up the blitz earlier. But hey, Black Orc does break armor for, just going into the last
So this is why on teams that have more than one right stuff player to get thrown, you typically like to have one on the line of scrimmage and one square behind it, so that your troll can actually step forward and throw the one at the front, because that could have bought in that one extra square. But of course, you can't count on that, because if you can't actually reach the line of scrimmage for your handoff, then you're still in trouble. So sadly, we do not see a one-turn touchdown from the Orks. They got so close with their reroll still intact. The Goblin's legs are just a little bit too short.
Yep, and there we go. A little bit of a pause there. Probably just talking it out in between each other in the chat, and then halftime we go.
Yeah, I doubt he was Oh, that's good.
Oh,
Both
beautiful.
Black Orcs come back, which means the Orcs are on 11 players, even though they've substituted a Blitzer out and the Gobbo in. Now, this could still be a match then.
Yeah. The Goblin being in there, okay, a little bit less than a Blitzer. Well, okay, a lot less, but at least you still have a Goblin on the pitch. And the nice thing about having a Goblin on the pitch is that you kind of don't care what happens to him. You do fouls. You can go and pick up the ball with him. He's a little bit more versatile, and because of that, you just don't know how that Goblin's going to be acting on the pitch. So, it may actually work out.
Yeah. And since the humans have only one tackle, the dodge is still pretty useful as well.
Oh yeah. Second half we go, 1-0. Our team now needs to grind one out and likely get us into overtime, eh?
And that is definitely what I'm hoping for here. I do think that Diomlord had a very, very rough first half and deserved to get more out of it than having his Apo used up and a Blitzer gone. So let's hope second half brings us some human blood and some Orc touchdowns.
One can only hope, right? This is why we play Blood Bowl right here. We want the blood, but we also want the touchdowns.
So the humans do still have their own apothecary and a 12th player. And they've also won fame, so better chances of good kickoff events for them as well.
Yeah, and as you can see there, guys, big guy in the linebacker position and not exactly on the front line. I can't tell you how many times people put him on the front line and then they lose their big guy right out the bat. So I think the proper formation there, keep the big guy a little bit safe. So what about the level 1 linemen in the front line there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're not willing to give up your your block ogre on the line of scrimmage. I mean, if you seriously outstrength your opponent, it might be worth putting him there
Yeah.
to make them think twice about even knocking him down. But there's very little use
Right. I mean,
in sacrificing him like that.
yeah, and it's one of those things where a lot of the newer players that come in, they're like, why am I getting diced so heavily? Look, this is the difference between the newer players and the experienced players right here. It's just you don't put yourself in the position to get diced, and that's the biggest thing.
It's very hard to disentangle how much. Ooh, another riot. So Orcs a bit slower and also down to 7 turns for that drive.
Yeah, that's actually okay.
As I was saying,
It's actually okay.
it's very hard to disentangle the contribution of skill and the contribution of luck, because being outplayed, especially for new coaches, often feels like you're getting outlucked because you can't tell how the opponent's playstyle has made it so that you're forced to take more risks, and he's able to capitalize on more chances.
Quite true. That is quite true. But all things being equal, if you were playing against another new player and then you just say, "Oh, I got diced and I lost the game," but I mean, that's just one of those things where, yeah, you have to play as if you're an experienced coach. You put the luck on the other coach. You try to make them do the roles, even if it's just a 2+. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, enough 2+ rolls will come and get you, and then people will be very, very upset because they failed a 2+ roll, which should almost always work. Well, it does.
Yeah.
That's not good enough.
I mean, heck, even on the Champions Cup scene, right? I mean, we see a lot of the same coaches. I mean, are these just the luckiest, 20 guys in the planet? No. I mean, these guys always put the chances on their opponents. They put themselves in the best position possible, and then they capitalize, as you said.
It's also very much a factor of time, because if you see someone like Crucifer, who was knocked out in the quarterfinals, he's qualified 8 times, I believe, mostly with his Chaos Dwarves.
Yeah.
And I think most of those were with way more games than the other people who qualified. So he's just someone who likes to play all the time.
Oh yeah.
And I think Arzowane, who we're watching right now, has actually qualified 12 times for the Champions Cup, which is spectacular. And he's also won 2 of those on PS4.
It's just It's, yeah, I mean, definitely on the Champions ladder, you definitely need time to play, but at least it's not hundreds of games that you need. It's about a lot of the coaches that come in there get about 30 games in for their top team. Now, you're not always going to just lose one or two matches, but yeah, I mean, one of those things that, yeah, time does make a difference.
I do wonder how many. Ooh, pickup fail for the Orcs. Now it's reasonably well protected there.
Yeah.
Let's see if the humans want to put on some pressure.
Yeah, let's see how Arzowane feels about this. Will he try to blitz the backfield? It's a possibility.
Now he's left one of his two catchers as a reserve, which limits his mobility. Of course, it helps his strength side of things, which is also important on on defense. But I think, given the pickup fail, he might have somewhat regretted that decision now. Having an
Yes.
extra player to send forwards might just make a lot of difference there.
Yeah, that and a lot of people say, "Oh, it doesn't matter about the kickoff and you know how my positioning of the players are." But right there, I mean, a flood pickup roll, a blitz on the kickoff. I mean, things like this really makes a difference, and you usually want to at least give yourself a chance at it. But right here, since he's up 1-0, he looks like he's just gonna put up a big cage. I mean, a big
Yeah.
screen against the orc ball carrier, and then get into
Well, the
the
orc
next
line is
rounds.
Yeah, the orc line is very solid here. The two black orcs on the right flank make it so that it's very hard to blitz past there.
Hmm.
In the center, we have a double layered screen which they can't pass, which means the left side where the ogre is now blitzing is actually the most viable place to get some distance going. And since that's where the ogre was,
Right.
and since the catcher was on the other side, he couldn't really get that far. So I kind of like this straight up column defense
Yeah.
tactic here.
Yeah, and really he is up 1-0. Sure, if he really wanted it, he probably could have just posted up the guard blitzer up there, then had the one die blitz, and then maybe come around the right. But I mean, no need to take such chances when you're up 1-0 like this.
Hmm. Jimmy in chat is saying that the advantage of benching the catcher is, of course, that you're guaranteed to still have him for either the one or two turn attempt at the end, or for overtime, which I think is a very valid concern.
Oh yeah.
Although with armor eight, they are a bit less fragile than they are in tabletop level.
So there's still armor value 7 on the tabletop version, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they got a buff in both systems. In Blood Bowl 2, they were made armor 8, and in Blood Bowl 2016, they were made 60k instead of 70k team value.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That actually makes them pretty okay fowlers as well, because they're only 10k more expensive than a lineman. But with movement and dodge, they can actually get to whoever you want to foul.
Oh yes, it's what I always say. The 5 things in Blood Bowl. You just want somebody for the fouls as well. Looks like though humans not going to put pressure whatsoever. Orcs just going to be able to have a free hand at picking up the ball, put up his cage, and we're going to see Diomlord work the grinding out with the orcs. Work these orcs and try to take down as many humans as he possibly can, and take the touchdown by the end.
Yeah. So it's worth noting that we're casting two semifinals back to back today. The other semifinal will be between Pupok and Bernie Buffin, both getting this far with human teams as well. And so that match should be starting right after this one, or maybe with a few minutes bio break.
Yeah.
And the two coaches who win the semifinals will have already qualified for the World Cup, since there are 2 tickets to be earned during this invitational. Um, if Bernie Buffin wins his, then we might also see a third place decider game coming up later.
That's right, guys. Bernie Buffin. Unfortunately, the PS4, the way they win their tickets is unlike the PC crew, where all they had to do was make it to the semifinals. For the PS4 and the Xbox, they had to wait into the championship match, and of course, that set them back one extra week, and just that extra day put them over the deadline to try to get their matches played, and unfortunately, they just couldn't get it done in time for Bernie Buffin to receive the invite to come in, and then it became a little bit too late. So I know you guys are kind of giving him a hard time, but it really has nothing to do with, I know he's the admin, but he had no control over it. I mean, he tried to get the matches in as fast as he could, but he just simply couldn't.
If he had wound up losing that last match, then it would have been awful for him to not be in the cup as well.
Yeah. He maybe he should have just tanked it there, but then at the same time, you're still not guaranteed yourself a ticket in the Champions Invitational like this, and so I don't necessarily blame him for not taking it either. but
I do believe this was actually his first Champions Cup win, despite qualifying 12 times. Is that correct?
That is correct. Bernie Buffin has qualified a bunch of times to make it into the Champions Cup, but never won it. And finally, the bastard goes and win it. And I can say that because I know the man. But Bernie Buffin, though, he's a good one, though. He said it himself that, boy, if it really was up to him, he wouldn't have accepted it, and he tried to get it done as quickly as he can. So, you guys stop giving him a hard time, please.
So, I guess we see more column defense from the humans, giving up the expendable targets, the lineman and the thrower, keeping the guard guys protected in the back, making sure he doesn't lose those, and also making sure that the blitzers can punch whoever comes and stands in front of them.
This is always disheartening, and this is kind of the reason why I like receiving the ball in the first half, because in the second half, now that the humans are up 1-0, all they need to do is just sit back, put up just about all their guys in this very tight screen formation, and make it so difficult for you to advance the ball, especially if the Orc player, not an agility 4 team, and it's just so difficult to break through, especially if you're not getting any armor breaks.
Yeah, and the Orcs have committed very strongly to the right flank, because the 3 players on the left are agility 2, and agility 1, so they're not going to do anything with the ball. The closest agility 3 is this blitzer here on the line of scrimmage, and so the Orcs can't really switch sides that easily from here, leaving the humans free to actually flood the right flank very strongly. Yeah, because they know that's going to be where the Orcs are going to want to advance.
Yeah, and with the riot on the kickoff earlier in the second half, this does mean one less turn for the Orcs to operate their offense, and just a little bit less time to do what they need to maybe shake this human team.
Yeah, and not just the riot. I mean, they both had a riot, but humans are faster. The humans dominated bash-wise, so they could do pretty much whatever they wanted. And the kick was deep and failed to be picked up the first turn. So the Orcs are going to be pressed for time here. They have 5 more turns, including this one, to get the ball to the end zone to even make it to overtime.
Yeah, it took them, what 3 turns just to get to the midfield line, and that's even with the human team just hanging back, just not even doing anything aggressively. Looks like, though, he's starting to put a screen up on the left side, the Orc team, and might have a handoff coming up.
No, I don't think so. I think he just wants to make sure that he can advance, screen off the left side here.
Yeah, it looks like he didn't do it, so well, he can still do it, but
if this were a handoff play, he'd be in a different square, I think.
Yeah, you're right. He would have been up one more just to mark the lineman for the easy mark on the guy lying down after the blitz.
And to be more in the way in case of a failure of the handoff.
Yeah.
He's pushing him towards the ball carrier to get extra blocks, make sure that this guy goes down, doesn't stay marking the cage. So he could 3-die with the Black Orc, or 2-die with the Blitzer, or 3 if he gets another assist. The Black Orc does it, pushes away from the ball carrier.
I was about to say, yeah, I would have opted for the 3-die. that would have been my personal thing.
Also because of the direction, because now the Blitzer can advance towards the troll, and the lineman can finish off protecting the carrier. I expect the 2 Bobs, the Black Orcs on the right flank, to actually get connected to, say, the thrower and the catcher or something. Just to make sure that the humans don't all swarm over to his new position.
Yeah. Human team, they may look like they're out of position, but loads of movement allowance. They're able to just put the screen right back up. So no big concern. Orcs, all they really did was win maybe 1 or 2 squares. And so the defense still looking okay.
Yeah, exactly. the the movement 7 and occasionally 8 of this back row of humans means that they can get quite in the way here. They'll still own much of the midfield, leaving the orcs pressured to push towards their left flank.
Yeah, and this is again the reason why I like having the goblin on the pitch, because he's able to just kind of get to places where normal orcs wouldn't be able to go, and they maybe be able to just dodge on through, get himself open, and he's still agility 3, and so could get thrown to by the end if need be, but obviously you don't want to do that. You really want to punch it in if possible.
Yeah, relying on that for the one turn is one thing. Relying on that for your main gameplay
Yeah.
is fine if you're halflings maybe, but even then you'd rather not. For
Yeah.
orcs, that is really last ditch stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. And of course I was just talking about strategy and just the things you could do, but you don't want to end up doing it.
I'm surprised by these black orcs not committing to connecting there, because this allows the humans to reposition much more freely. On the other hand, that means the orcs might still swing back towards the right flank.
I think
So
that's
he's
what he's thinking
basically
about.
hedging his bets, making sure that he's not getting locked down on the flank again, but rather keeping his options open to advance left or right, meaning the humans will have to spread out more than they've done so far in order to cover all sides.
And unlike the first half where it was pretty clear where the humans were going with all the armor breaks, this is kind of where Blood Bowl really shines here, is that, boy, it kind of says, okay, well, do we want to keep ourselves open to get to the left side? As we see there, he's making a lot of headway on the left, but he's keeping his options open on the right side by keeping the black orcs there and maybe be able to put a push on that direction as well. So I really like the game plan here, the Orc team, not just making it to where he's just in one little area. He's keeping it in the center, and he's making it to where, hey, I'm going to go left or right. You just don't know. Maybe even up the center. So good play here by the Orc team so far.
Yep, absolutely agreed. It's worth noting just how these people got to play here. These are the 8 people who, at the start of the tournament, had not yet qualified for the World Cup, but had been consistently performing very, very well in the Champions Cups. So these are people who qualified multiple times, who made it far in the Champions Cup tournaments, and in many cases, most cases, actually bringing the Champions Cup home as well. So these are people that have done consistently well in Champion Ladder, consistently well in Champion Cup, and so we are looking at the best ladder Blood Bowl coaches around, both from PlayStation, Xbox, and quite a few from PC.
Well, the only caveat that I have to add is that they're the best Champions Ladder coaches to not win a ticket yet. Like all with the
Exactly.
exception of Bernie Buffin, though. Bernie, you bastard! All right, I'll just throwing it out there. How dare you win? But yes, it is going to be one of those things where they didn't necessarily want to be here, but they're glad to be here to have a chance at the last 2 tickets here for the World Cup coming up in, what, the start about July 16th?
That is correct. Now, the only one who did kind of want to be here was Shawnee, because he never tried to qualify for the World Cup, but then he wound up with an invite for for the Invitational Cup, and he was like, "Oh, well, all right,"
Sure.
which would have been very funny if he managed to qualify by playing only 2 games, where some of us have played, dozens in order to get to the situation.
Yeah, that would have just been like so funny for him, and it just would have been like, hey, I only played 2 games, guys. What's the big fuss? Yes, and there you go. As you see there, Orcs now looking like they're going left. Humans have to, of course, react strongly, and they're on the right side. 2 black Orcs. Suddenly, they look a lot stronger than just the thrower and the level 1 lineman there on the right. So, there you go.
Yeah,
Can actually change up.
exactly. Yeah, the humans can't commit too much either, and as a result, they're going to have to give the orcs a bit of room here. Now, I do like how the ogre placed so centrally makes it very hard for the orcs to switch to either side really, because he's going to want to bring his players from the left to the right or vice versa, and the ogre is very well positioned to make that difficult.
Yeah, and again,
Taking him down is a bit of extra effort, but he could be chain pushed away, perhaps.
he could be. And again, I really like how Arzowane is playing with the ogre. I mean, he's still putting the lineman right in the front. He's not putting the ogre right at the extreme line in which they're going to get bashed down. The ogre still be ruling the center of the pitch and still being a menace. And like you said, making it very difficult for the Orc team to change left or right side at the moment because of it. And there you go, the chain push to try to help
Since he
with
went
that.
for that, since he went for that direction, I guess he's picked the left flank to go to then. Otherwise, he wouldn't have pushed the ogre further to the right, I think.
Yeah, but
There we go. Yep.
yeah, there we go. That's definitely a sure shine right there. The black orc moving in, but yeah, it looks like he was gonna be moving along the left side anyways. But still, had the black orcs could have squared away the right side and screened off that way. But it appears you are correct.
Yep.
They are going to the left.
Yep. So those two guys are screening off the ball carrier. So Spartaco is going to wind up right wedged between them. And that still leaves a block here, a block there. Are we going to see a troll blitz then? We might just see the troll blitzing in somewhere. After the safe stuff, of course.
Oh,
I mean, he hasn't blitzed yet, and the others are mostly connected.
Yeah.
Unless he chooses to blitz with the Black Orc to actually free up someone else to come and fortify the front, because there is a chain push there as well.
Oh yeah, I think I like that better. I mean, you kind of don't want to blitz with your big guy because of the bonehead or really stupid chances. So I think if it was me, I would have blitzed with the black orc.
Then again, getting him in there is not bad either. Oh,
No, it's nice. Oh, well, there we go. Well, looks like there's going to be no blitz this half. That's okay too. You don't have to blitz every single time. You know.
that's not necessarily true, because the blitzer who still has his turn.
Ooh!
And now it is Blood Bowl. He's not gonna apple that.
Welcome to Blood Bowl, lineman.
See, this blitzer can still move quite a bit after after
Yeah.
blitzing here, so that's not bad. That's not half bad.
He doesn't need to stay static. He can now blitz and then move. Hey.
So we're going to see him get on the left flank towards the thrower,
Yeah, for
because that's
sure.
where he's going to be most needed. Probably. I wouldn't say for sure, because if he wants to keep his options open, make sure that the humans don't all get in front of him on the left flank again. He might just hang near that that black orc Bim here,
Oh,
so that he has a fallback plan. Yeah,
options.
there we go.
He's going to keep the
Options,
options. Look at
indeed.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Spread the humans out. Basically, play a bit more like the green elves and a bit less like the.
Are those elves on
mean,
the pitch I see?
I mean, so far the humans have been out bashing and the orcs have been out agilitying, so it's not. It's
a,
not. Like
it's a role
completely
reversal,
weird.
isn't it?
Yeah. And as Jimmy said, we might very well see someone mark the ball carrier this turn after blitzing one of those two blitzers away from there. Humans getting their guard in.
Yeah, and,
It's
and I
about to go
believe they're
down.
planning for it. And as you can see there, the troll, even though, again, they're not going to do the throw teammate anytime
He's going to
soon.
reroll this, right?
Oh, nice.
Ah, he saves the reroll because of the overtime, I guess. If this does go to overtime, he wants to make sure that he still has rerolls left.
You're right about that. But like I was saying, though, the troll staying right there in the center and the goblin right behind him, he's leaving the threat open. But, I mean, it's not definitely a real threat at all. But it's going to be one of those things where he's keeping his options open, has the lineman in the center, maybe can hand off, and then maybe a throw to the blitzer if push come to shove. But again, keeping his options open, I really like how Diomlord is playing this offense. Just keeping it open. A lot of times you see these orc coaches or even dwarf or whatever, they keep themselves a little bit too bottled up and they leave themselves with
They
no
get
options
stuck.
by the end. Yeah,
Yeah.
they just get stuck. And then now it's just so many options for him to go to, and humans kind of have to cover it all, kind of have to keep it all in mind.
Exactly. If you're spreading the humans slightly thinner, in this case it's only one lineman keeping him busy, but that that might just make the difference between you getting past them in the center or not.
Yeah.
Ogre is no longer based, so can't be knocked down unless he blitzes,
I mean,
which is a huge asset.
seeing what I'm seeing here out of Diomlord, it's just like wow, he's looking so much more solid, so much more, I don't know, stronger I'd say, but of course that's given Arzowane a little too less of a credit, but still, I mean, he looks so good right now.
Arzowane is playing a solid defense, and I feel like watching Arzowane's offense, I haven't gotten to see just how good he is because his dice helped him so much. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that the decisions were fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
However, the one thing I have seen from Arzowane that made me a little bit skeptical were the decisions surrounding where to put the ball carrier during the stall,
Oh
because
yeah.
he was in a dominant position and got his ball carrier, admittedly with lucky dodges, but still he
Yeah.
got his ball carrier blitzed and even surfed when I don't think that was strictly necessary given the dominant position he had.
Yeah.
Oh, and a 1 in 9 would have been a turnover, got rerolled. So the Orcs are down to
Oh.
2 rerolls, which is scary if they're. I mean, their best bet is getting into overtime, and getting into overtime with fewer rerolls
Right.
is not that great.
Yeah, but it's just going to be one of those things where you were just so far ahead and your guard just kind of went down, and I think that definitely played into that role. But it doesn't bode well if you get your ball carrier blitzed by the end of the first half. I mean, almost got nuffled there at the end.
Now we're getting some lovely rabble in chat because clearly since Arzowane is a console coach, saying anything negative about that is a big no-no. Now I think he's playing a very solid defense, and I do kind of want to see this go to overtime. I feel like Diomlord had a very very rough time first half, and it would be great to see these coaches duke it out in a third half.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I mean, so far so good. Yeah, I mean, Arzowane doing well on defense and making this orc team work for it, though. I mean, yeah, we've seen a good bit of offense here and a good bit of how you should construct a good offensive play here, but humans definitely not making it easy.
Yeah, 3 turns for the Orcs, including this one. So basically 2 left. The Orcs need to get very, very connected to make anything out of it. Oh, and that 2 die also doesn't work.
Not a good time to see pushes.
Nope, nope, nope. That does not help.
Yeah, turn 14, and he's gonna have to pretty much stay almost where he's at on this parallel. So this is gonna be a tough one near the end. Likely gonna have to throw it by the end, and we're gonna probably have to see some magic.
Yeah, that blitzer on the right flank is looking more and more Oh, and another 1 in 9.
Oh,
Reroll was already used.
and a KO.
A Black Orc KO again.
Wow.
Ooh.
Black Orcs forgot to wear the armor and their helmet and anything else that protects any type of brain. And he's gonna go down. That's horrible because he really needed that Black Orc to help out on the
Yeah,
right side.
because now that blitzer is not much of a threat anymore.
Mm-mm. And if he gets downed here on the 2 die, then
Oh, opening with the ogre block and successful, which frees up this lineman who can then go help out in the center some more.
oh,
We might even see the troll going down this turn.
yeah, we sure will. Looks like if the blitzer does go down the far right, it's just gonna be all of what I said has gone down the tubes. Now he's gonna be a little bit stuck. He's gonna have to
It-
likely throw it at the end here.
Oh, he went for the 1 die. That's a scary moment, and
Gutsy.
it worked.
Work
Yeah.
though. Oh, but gets paid off in dividends.
Very, very much.
And you can scratch that troll out of the equation. He's not going to be back by the end, and that's horrible. So now that takes away a troll
Yeah.
5 strength, and also, again, very unlikely, but a throw teammate chance maybe.
Yeah, it's looking very, very grim for the Orcs. I don't think we're gonna get overtime here. Yeah,
Hum-
he's not even taking the extra punch he had, rather solidifying the sideline, making sure that the orcs do not get past on the left flank.
And before humans OP. Although I think I'm too late for that.
So that means that, oh, he is advancing here. I'm a bit surprised, but getting in the orc's face.
That
Knockdown is good
pressing.
enough. Yeah,
Wants to get
and
aggressive.
since that's a garter, he's also got a 2-die on the blitzer on the left flank,
Yeah, and that's the whole
which
point of
also
this.
works.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, the dice. It's looking so good. All these pals. Orcs cannot afford anymore. And
Wow.
oh, the armor break with the KO.
Another KO. Brutal, brutal. These greenskins are going home, I'm afraid.
Oh, and there, the nail on the coffin. Humans are pushing the orcs back from whence they came. This is just... Where does the orcs go now? Nowhere. They're just tied up.
Just getting in touch with the next two
Next two
semi-finalists,
players?
Pupak and Bernie Buffin.
Okay, good stuff.
Let's see if they are available to start a little bit earlier than the 5 p.m. Paris time that we had in mind, because that would be 40 minutes from now.
Yeah.
So,
Orcs.
assuming they're available, I expect we're just going to do a quick break after this match.
Yeah.
5-minute bio break and then continue.
The goblin.
Unless we see some magic happen.
Yeah, I think at this point you have to hope for some throws in there. So the goblin likely gonna go down the pitch. Maybe a blitz through for a blitzer with a dodge. I don't know, but
Well,
orcs need to do
he
something.
could. The troll is coming back on turn 16. So in theory, if the goblin is holding the ball next to where the orc is, next to where the troll is, it could still throw. But that's not something you want to bet your play on.
You definitely don't want to do that. I mean, I really feel like the best option here is just forget about the throw teammate. You gotta go around the left side with your gobbo, and then maybe a blitz away with the mighty blow tackler, and then just move him up a little bit, and then maybe get the other blitzer in range as well, and then hopefully you'll have 3 options to throw to by the end.
I think he'll be lucky to have 2 touchdown threats at the end
Yeah.
of his turn.
He'll be lucky to have 2 though, yeah. Well, this is where I'm glad I'm not playing the orcs right now.
Absolutely.
Looks like they're about to advance on in. And actually just recently in the PC Champions Cup 15, we seen from the Champions Ladder even the human coach taking the win. So I mean, a whole bunch of tier 2 teams looking quite good by the end, where we had Necromantic team versus humans in the Champions Cup 15 in the PC. So I'm pretty excited to see that it's not just all Bash that are winning the Champions Cup. It's going to be a varying amounts of teams. And that's the nice thing about Blood Bowl. You just never know.
Yeah, I do hope that we'll see a nice varied lineup for the World Cup main event.
Yeah.
I think having a varied lineup, opening with a 1-die and again not getting a knockdown, that means that Galbo, if he wants to run past, is still going to have to do quite a lot of walking there.
Whole bunch
And the
of 3+, 3+.
The alternatives aren't pretty either.
Well, the thing about it, though, is at least he doesn't have to do it against well, no, he still has to do it against all that stuff. I don't know what I'm saying here. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but
the tackler isn't there. That's good. Oh, time.
oh, the
Time. He
the
has to
time.
either advance or go on the
He
troll.
has to just
Oh,
go.
the first dodge is a failure. Oh,
Oh,
no!
Gonna miss out on the dodge, and this is it. That's it. I think he needs to just hope the blitzer stays where he's at, because I think that's the only touchdown threat that he has. Oh
Yep,
no.
that blitzer. I mean, there's theory bowling with a catch first and then a throw teammate into the end zone. We've all seen it happen, but realistically, that blitzer is the only touchdown threat, and a single push is enough to make that impossible.
And
oh, that was brutal.
Diomlord thought so long on that one dive blitz. He was like, should I do it? Should I do it? He thought for 2 minutes over it, and then finally did it. Just gets a push after all, and couldn't get the gobble around the left side.
Yeah, brutal
And
stuff.
now the only thing that could save the Orc team now is Nuffle, but
yeah, the push is enough.
push is enough. Hopefully he doesn't get himself into any push chains.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be it, guys. Wow. Humans are unbeaten in this format. I think only another human can beat another human at this point.
Well, yeah, that's since the humans are the only teams in the competition, that is a guarantee.
That's a guarantee. Well, the thing is, though, okay, guys, I know what you guys are saying. Oh, humans are OP, but look, vampires damn near almost won the game in the quarterfinals coming up. Okay, yeah, it got sloppy at the end, but Rambo likely should have won that game with the vampires by the end. And then also, Bernie Buffett, look, well played at the second half, but he did get the blitz on the kickoff to help get the ball back in the second half, and then just grind it out for the easy victory. Well, not easy, but a hard-fought victory.
And to end the game in style, the humans KO 2 Black Orcs again.
Black Orcs going down doesn't help it as well.
This is
Arzowane
ridiculous. So,
wow.
is he gonna foul that goblin? Because the goblin, in theory, could score.
Right, he is in range for the throw teammate, so I don't blame him for this. But
I mean, he'd have to land in the end zone.
he'd have to land in the end zone, so he'd have to get thrown as far as he possibly could, and then the scatter for him needs to be on the touchdown. So I don't think so.
Oh, that's actually 3 scatters in the same direction as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's happened. I can remember Bogbum. Yeah, here comes the boots. Bye-bye, Gobbo.
Yep, 7.
Bye-bye, hopes and dreams.
Yep, and there it goes. Takes out the last bastion of hope. Make sure that there's
So
no push combo. GG.
It's worth noting that Diomlord's chance at the World Cup is not over, because if Bernie wins his match against Pupok, then Diomlord could still do a third-place game against Pupok to determine who gets the World Cup ticket, if I'm not mistaken.
Ah, indeed. Good stuff, and that'll be done tomorrow. If that's the possibility.
Yeah, let's see whether we can all make that work. Of course, if Bernie loses his match, then Pupok and Arzowane are the 2 winners of the World Cup ticket, and that would mean that Diomlord's chance at entering the World Cup is now completely out of his own hands.
Oh gosh, I'm not trying to bash the console, guys. I love you. I love the console players. It's equal opportunity hate. Don't worry. I'll be bashing on a lot of PC coaches. Diomlord, why did you fail? Damn it.
Yeah, I've gotten fairly resistant to much of this kind of chats over the years. All right.
I just laugh at it.
All of this is just posturing, and none of this matters. And that means that Arzowane is going to the World Cup 2018,
Yes.
where he is one of 64 coaches who are able to win up to a total prize pool of 10,000 in cash, 2 gaming PCs sponsored by Asus Republic of Gamers.
Yep.
The World Cup will start July 16th, and the semifinal will be on August 14th and the final on August 16th. So stay tuned for that. Now, After this match is ended, we're going to go on a very short break, and we will hopefully have Pupok and Bernie Buffin play their semifinal right after this one.
I mean, it's definitely worth noting for the World Cup. It's going to be the same type of format where Tier 1, four general skills, Tier 2, 5 general skills, and a doubles, and in Tier 3, the 4 general skills and then 2 doubles. But
I do not expect to see. Yeah,
yeah.
This format is actually very unfriendly to Tier 3 because they don't get more skills than Tier 2, and there are no inducements allowed, which also tend to benefit. I mean, even goblins do not get their bribes, even halflings do not get their chef or a star. So I would be very surprised if we saw anyone take Tier 3, except if they lost a bet or something.
Yeah, or something like, made a little bet with a little wager with the boys, and then now they have to play a Tier 3 team, Tier 3 team. Oh, and adding insult to injury.
Yeah. I think this is a good idea of how this match went.
Pretty much.
KO'd Black Orcs and pristine humans. Well, they got one guy dead, but he was not even doctor worthy.
Yeah.
This match was all Arzowane pretty much. We saw some very cool plays by Diomlord, some very nice low odds sacking plays, but it was not enough to beat these formidable humans. Mm-hmm. And so we see Arzowane going to the World Cup, and Diomlord hoping for a third place match. And so we are going to see Diomlord very, very much rooting for Pupok in the next semifinal, which the coaches are going to be playing only a couple of minutes from now.
He'll actually be rooting for Bernie Buffin. So if anything, Pupok, well, not Pupok, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad. Yeah. He's going to be rooting for Bernie because if Bernie wins, he gets the chance at the third place match.
There you go, Bernie. Diomlord has now become your biggest fan. And as you see on the statistics, lots of armor breaks for the human team, 6 KOs, 2 injuries being inflicted, and that was one of the biggest reasons why they won. But moreover, it was good, solid play and patient Blood Bowl, and in the end, the defense held, and the Orks just could not break through. And one to nothing.
Yeah, both coaches played very well, but those KOs on the Black Orcs were huge. And of course, the scatter being bad on that goblin, just one square short of running in the one-turn touchdown. Oh, that was harsh. Yeah. All right. So I'll be sure to fill in these brackets in a moment because Arzowane has gone through, and we're going to see the Bernie versus Pupok match after a short break. We are the Sage and VG Purists. Thank you very much for watching this match, and we'll be right back with you for the other semifinal.
That's right, guys. More Blood Bowl to come. Don't you guys go away.